Welcome back to RAMD, Episode 3. Today we'll be continuing our discussion of the Ape Escape series. This time we're looking over Ape Escape 2, the first official sequel to the original Ape Escape. But first let's talk about a little company that Ape Escape was lucky to have. Ubisoft. You see, for some reason, after Ape Escape, Sony didn't want to release Ape Escape 2 in America. I haven't been able to find information regarding this. Maybe it had something to do with sales, but at any rate, Ape Escape 2 was released in Japan in 2001. However, Ape Escape 2 was not released in the United States until 2003. That's a 2-year gap. Why did it take so long? Well, like I said, Sony didn't want to release it over here, and so Ubisoft got the rights and published it. It's most likely thanks to Ubisoft that we got any future titles, as Sony eventually did decide to release future Ape Escape titles here in the United States. Ubisoft would go on to publish another Ape Escape game, but that's a game for another day. Today we're talking about Ape Escape 2. Just like the other two games, let's start with the story. The story begins with the new character Jimmy being given a very simple task by the professor. Teleport some new monkey pants into the area where the monkeys are kept. My first question being, why do monkeys need pants again? In the previous game, they made this whole deal about, oh, we gotta wash monkey pants, and I'm like, aren't these the same creatures that throw poop around? Why are you giving them pants? Of course you're gonna have to wash them! Anyway, Jimmy makes a big screw up, and Natalie, of course, is pissed about it because, well, she's Natalie. Unfortunately, it's not a little screw up. Instead of sending the monkeys pants, Jimmy sends them peak point helmets. Yeah, Jimmy's kind of stupid like that. As you might have guessed, it doesn't turn out well. Spectre gets a peak point helmet right away and returns to his plans to take over the world.
Of course!
This time, however, he brings to the aid 5 special monkeys called the Freaky Monkey 5. By eating these special bananas called Vita Z bananas, they gain incredible intelligence and speak like humans the way Spectre does. They are actually the main bosses of this game. You've got Blue Monkey, who acts like an action star / daredevil, Yellow Monkey, who loves eating lots of bananas and doing sumo, Pink Monkey, who is like a monkey idol, White Monkey, who is a genius and able to make crazy robots, and Red Monkey, who acts like a superhero. Natalie and the professor return this time, but without much of a reason, the main protagonist is changed to a new kid named Jimmy. As you saw from the beginning, he acts very stupid most of the time. There's this little monkey that likes to hang around him named Pipichi, who can fly and has a strange helmet that makes him friendly, I guess. Jimmy thinks the peak point helmets are the same as the one Pipichi wears, but that's not the case. Spectre sends all the monkeys on a big rampage. Meanwhile, the professor is away in a casino on vacation, blissfully unaware of the chaos that's going on until later in the game, when Jimmy finds him. Jimmy gallivants across the globe, hunting down monkeys and defeating the Freaky Monkey 5. At one point, Pipichi is kidnapped by the Freaky Monkey 5, and it's not exactly clear why. Then they discover that the White Monkey was studying Pipichi's helmet to make the lethargy laser, a weapon that could make it so that humans are docile and easy to conquer. Just as Jimmy makes it to Spectre, and Spectre is about to fight him with a massive machine, it's revealed that Yellow Monkey has been eating way too many Vita Z bananas and has turned into a giant. Jimmy defeats Yellow Monkey and chases after Spectre into outer space. And before Spectre is able to press the button that fires the lethargy laser, Jimmy catches him. However, it's revealed that Spectre actually escapes after you catch him that time, and you have to capture all of Spectre's monkey minions before you can fight him again. After doing this, Jimmy and Pipichi return. All is well, and Spike even makes a cameo at the very end. A bit simpler than the first Ape Escape story, but it still works. But let's face facts. The main reason to play an Ape Escape game is for the really fun gameplay. And now, that's what we're going into. Now, naturally, you don't have time travel in this game, but they still come up with a good variety of levels because Jimmy travels all over the world. From New York to Venice, from the Arctic to haunted castles. Your locations keep changing, and the level designs are colorful and enjoyable to play through. The monkeys are also more colorful and interesting than they were in the first Ape Escape. There's a greater variety in how they're designed, from a monkey that looks like he belongs in Journey to the West to an invisible monkey that you can't really see much of. The monkeys in the original Ape Escape weren't that interesting. Occasionally they'd be wearing robes, some had goggles, some had sunglasses, but for the most part there wasn't that great of a variety in how they looked. The monkeys in Ape Escape 2 are different. They're constantly wearing different clothes and different costumes. In fact, just look at this cover art. Look at all these different outfits. It just makes hunting them down so much more interesting. That's nice and all, but we all know what video game sequels are about. They're about adding new innovations and new gameplay elements that make the games play better. The original Ape Escape was fun because it had gadgets that made platforming interesting, and chasing down the monkeys was also great. So how does Ape Escape 2 improve on this? There are a few things it tries. First of all, it adds 3 new gadgets. The first gadget is the water cannon. You spin the right analog stick and you shoot out a jet of water that can put out fires that block your path. That's about all it can do though. Then there's the banana rang. If you use the monkey radar, you can see how hungry a monkey is. A hungry monkey means that he's susceptible to the banana rang. Pull back on the right analog stick and let go and the banana rang flies out. Rotate the right analog stick and it spins in place, releasing a sweet banana scent, drawing in monkeys and leaving them vulnerable for you to catch. You can also use the banana rang to take down enemies, but I don't recommend it because it's not nearly as efficient as the slingback shooter is. The final gadget they added is the magnet. You can use the magnet to cling to metal surfaces. It can also pull metal armor off enemies, or pull away metal weapons from monkeys, which is very useful. The sad thing is none of these gadgets add much to the series at all. In fact, they added so little they were completely removed in Ape Escape 3. The magnet does have some fun platforming moments, but they're few and far in between. Where the game really shines is the brand new vehicles. The old vehicles return, like the tank and... no. The raft! Oh, raft, I hate you! Why do you haunt me? Anyway, the new vehicles include the snowmobile, the submarine, and a Pipichi mech. The Pipichi mech is probably the least fun of the new vehicles they've added. All you really do is walk forward slowly and swat at things with a very simple attack. But the snowmobile is fast, and you can run over the monkeys that are skiing down the mountain way too fast to catch by normal means. That's right, you're running them over. You're squashing their guts and then capturing them. Ah, I love this series. The submarine is also really fun too. You can fire water nets just like you do when you swim normally. And you can fire torpedoes, which is really cool. Also, it controls okay, making it the first water vehicle in an Ape Escape game that doesn't control like the freaking Raft does! Gosh, I hate you, Raft! The bosses in Ape Escape 2 never really feel that challenging. Of course, the bosses in Ape Escape 1 weren't that challenging either, but Blue Monkey you kind of just run up against with the super hoop and smash him with the stun club, I guess. He's pretty dang easy, just don't fall on the collapsing platforms. Pink Monkey is kind of psychotic and insane. If you go up to her stage and hit her, she'll blast you back with psychic power. So I guess she's kind of similar to Spectre. But she's also pretty easy. Just jump your way to her and whack her. Yellow Monkey's fight isn't that hard. Just have to avoid him and hit him in the back and see if he lands on the spikes in the outer ring. White Monkey actually uses a big Jimmy robot. And it's pretty funny because whenever you get a hit in, he yells, "Jimmy!"
Oh no! Hit me! Hit me!
You think it would get annoying, but it honestly doesn't. I laugh every time. Red Monkey has several shockwave and charging attacks, but they're pretty easy to dodge. Spectre brings his usual arsenal. Big giant robots.
He won't move! I don't believe it! You tricked me again, haven't you, Jimmy?
But I didn't...
And then he uses his psychic powers in the next battle. In fact, the only fight I found truly difficult was the Yellow Monkey, because he had to hit his teeth out, and it wasn't always easy. That and he liked to eat you. But even that wasn't the most difficult fight. Still, the boss fights are enjoyable, if a little bit too easy. But come on, it's a kid's game. There are a few small gameplay changes, like the fact that Jimmy swings a bit different than Spike. For Spike, you would push the joystick in the direction you wanted to swing the net, and he would smash the net against that side of the ground. For Jimmy, he kind of swings the net into that direction. It works just as well, and it allows for some really interesting catches. A gameplay change I find idiotic, however, is that when you complete a level, your health gauge doesn't go back to full. That's right. Whatever cookies you've lost, stay lost until you find new cookies. Why? It doesn't make any sense. Even old games on the NES didn't work this way. You didn't lose your power-ups in Mario just because you went to a new level. If you beat a boss in Mega Man and went to a new level, your health wasn't where it was when you beat him. What is this? It doesn't make any sense. It wasn't even in the first Ape Escape. I think that's my only major complaint about this game, however, so I guess that's a good thing. Oh, another interesting element they added was Pipichi. That's right, Pipichi, the little baby monkey, isn't just there to follow you around, he actually helps Jimmy sometimes. For example, if Jimmy's about to fall into a death pit, occasionally Pipichi will grab him and pull him back to safety. That's a pretty good feature. Actually, it kind of predates Elika from that new Prince of Persia game. But that's not the only thing Pipichi does. Sometimes if you run out of cookies and you're about to die, Pipichi will actually pull an extra cookie out and give it to you, bringing you back to life. So I'd say Pipichi is actually pretty helpful in this game. No game mechanic like this returns in a future Ape Escape game, so I guess it's an interesting exclusive for Ape Escape 2 to have. Ape Escape 2 was also the first Ape Escape game to introduce the coin upgrading system. If you destroyed enemies in Ape Escape 2, they would drop coins. Collect a bunch of them in a row and you would make a combo, which would turn them into silver stars. Collect a bunch of those and they become gold stars. You could use your coins in a gachapon machine, which handed out all kinds of interesting items, like alternate RC cars. One of which was a tissue box and another was a plate of sushi. There were also monkey fables, which were funny retellings of fairy tales but from a monkey point of view. You also had concept art, which apparently is now the standard to include in most modern games, but in my opinion the best reward were the monkey comics, which were quite funny, though there weren't that many to collect. And then of course there were the mini-games. And let me tell you, they're a lot better than the atrocities that were in the first Ape Escape, except for the shmup. First up, Dance Monkey Dance. You move the joysticks according to the arrows at the rhythm of the music. It's actually pretty fun. It's no DDR, but it's definitely better than that stupid skiing game from the first Ape Escape. Then there's Monkey Climber. You move the monkey's arms with the right and left analog sticks. Then you use R1 and L1 to control when the monkey is gripping or not gripping a vine. The goal is to get to the banana. To get to some areas, you'll actually have to shake the vine back and forth and then release a vine you're hanging onto to swing over to your next goal. I think the controls were actually similar in Donkey Kong King of Swing, which, trust me, we'll be getting to that game, but that's for a future RAM series. The final mini-game in this game is my favorite. Now, let me just say, I am not a fan of sports games. I don't play Madden, and I don't play any other sports game unless it involves Mario and go-karts, or Diddy Kong. However, I don't know what's up with this game, but I just like it. The controls are very simple. Use the left analog stick to move your monkey around. Press the face buttons and you can shift between the other monkeys on your team. Use the right analog stick to aim your kick and shoot it into the goal. If you don't have the ball, you can use the right analog stick to try and steal the ball from another player. I should definitely play this multiplayer sometime. I've only ever played it single player. Oh, and by the way, unlike Monkey Climber and Dance Monkey Dance, you can make up your own team of monkeys from the monkeys you've caught in the main game so far, which is a pretty cool feature. Heck, they even have their own individual stats. I go with the Invisible Monkey, and of course San Goku Monkey for the win. Also, like Super Mario Strikers, there's various balls you can use, like a tiny pink bouncy ball that gives you 3 points, or a big beach ball that gives you 2 points. Let me just say that I love monkey soccer.
Let's play monkey soccer!
The voice work in Ape Escape 2 is a pretty big improvement over the original. It actually sounds like the voice actors know what they're doing. Actually, these voices sound pretty familiar. This voice comes from a feisty redhead that gets annoyed with the stupidity of the main character. This voice comes from an energetic brat who doesn't know what he's doing. And this voice comes from a kid with really freaky multicolored hair. Nah, it couldn't be.
Curse you, Dan Green!
One of the biggest changes in Ape Escape 2 over the original was obviously the graphics. Unlike Peepo Sorrow 2001, which was barely a difference compared to the original, Ape Escape 2 shows a huge improvement over the original blocky graphics. It didn't win any awards for having the best PS2 graphics, but it was certainly a big improvement for the series. Characters were rounded and nicely textured, and the advancements in facial expression, though not that impressive, were very welcome. Ape Escape 2 received very positive reviews, although not outstanding. It was a step forward for the series, but not a leap. Still, for being the second main game in the franchise, you could do a lot worse. Join us next time and we will be discussing Ubisoft's final published Ape Escape game in America. You won't be sucking pants off monkeys or capturing them, but it will be a fun experience nonetheless.